Hi everyone, this is the video on assignment 1, entering the conversation. You will find the assignment prompt underneath the folder for the contents for this assignment segment of the course. So if you take a look at it, I have actually created a short PowerPoint, which I also will include on Blackboard so you can look at, that talks about this assignment. So let's take a look at this assignment. Okay, so as I stated in the last video, our topic this semester is wonder and awe, and this first assignment is entering the conversation. So let's take a look at the objectives that you have for this assignment. If we know what our objectives are, that helps guide us with our writing. So our learning objectives, there are two, is to understand and explain a complex text. And I will add to an audience who has not read it. And then the second thing you're doing with this assignment is develop your own ideas using the complex text and your own personal experiences. Okay. So your task will be to write an essay entering the conversation by engaging with some of De Cruz's claims with her examples and explanation with what others have said in the chapter that she cites and with her response to their claims. Okay. The purpose of this assignment is to show your reader that you understand and comprehend De Cruz's purpose and position in the essay. Number two, select a set of related claims that from De Cruz and others with which you engage to articulate your position on what wonder and or awe can do for us, why we should try to cultivate them, and if it is possible to make ourselves feel them. And three, use your own experiences and ideas with wonder and awe to develop and explain your position in relation to the claims you select from De Cruz text. Now, this may seem like a lot of what you're doing, but it's best that if we break this down into smaller bites. So let's talk about the idea and the process of how we're going to approach it. The first thing you're going to do is read and take notes. So you know what the objectives are for this assignment. You also know what you and the purpose for this assignment. So keep those things in the back of your mind. I also like to write them on front cover of what I'm reading so that way I can keep it in mind as I'm reading. So what you want to do is first read and take notes. Highlight and note in some way the claims in De Cruz's text that you are drawn to and what you might engage with for assignment 1. My personal advice is to go ahead and mark the ones that and go ahead and name the claim one, two, three, four so you can find it, and then go back and highlight the ones that stand out to you. So think of keeping this in mind. You will ultimately need to work with direct quotes from De Cruz's essay. So it's a good idea to also start identifying early on what those might be. So this is a different type of reading. So instead of just reading through the chapter of Wonderstruck, what you're going to want to do is already have in the back of your mind, this is what I'm looking for as I'm reading it. Then, once you have completed that, you will see that there's a personal experiment that you will conduct yourself that will make you reflect on your own experiences with wonder and awe to start to develop your own ideas. Because the first part of this is being able to summarize De Cruz and use De Cruz ideas and the different ideas that she pulls in her chapter. And then the second part of this is for you to do your own personal experiment, kind of like thinking about putting her ideas to the test, so to speak, or being able to give your audience your own perspective, your part of the conversation of what De Cruz is saying. So, as you're doing this exercise, you will want to take careful, reflective notes on your experiences and ideas. You will also find this underneath assignment 1, entering the conversation folder, this experiment. It may say and may be worded a little differently for in class, but wherever you are, I will have a video for you how you can conduct this personal experiment on your own where you are. So, one of the things I want you to keep in mind as you're doing this assignment is to keep in mind the common pitfalls that you may find. So, let's go back to the assignment sheet. So, some of the common pitfalls that you want to avoid, and let me zoom in. will be watch out for dividing your paper into two big chunks. So as a they say chunk and an I say chunk. So you don't want one half of your paper be all about day cruise and then the other part being all about what you're saying as the writer. Instead, you want to alternate between the they say and I say throughout the paper, and we'll talk about this as you're drafting. The other thing you want to consider is if you were drilled in a 5 paragraph essay format prior to this class, watch out for trying to make it fit this assignment into that template. It's going to be difficult. And while it's true that this essay should have an introduction and a conclusion and a multi-paragraph body divided into chunks, the number of those chunks and the number of paragraphs for each chunk overall will depend on which pieces of Day Cruise you choose to work with and what you choose to say. Since the average length of this paper is 5 double-spaced pages, you should definitely have more than 3 paragraphs in the body of your essay. And we'll talk about this process along with the writing process as you get ready to move into producing your initial draft as well. So we will be working on this paper as a process. And the third common pitfall to avoid is select a set of claims from Day Cruise text that relate to each other in some way. So you don't want one that's way over here and one that's way over there. If you choose claims at random, it will be hard to make a coherent transition between the sections of your essay. And one of the things you want to keep in mind is your audience has not read Day Cruise. So how would you want to bring this paper together for not only flow and coherency, but what is it that you want your audience to walk away? I like to say to think about this paper in terms of if you were at a table with Day Cruz and you and her are talking about wonder and awe. You're going back and forth. We know a conversation is not usually Day Cruz saying everything that they need to say and then you responding with everything. You're going back and forth. So as you approach this paper, think about it being in a back and forth manner. We will talk about this more in the coming weeks. The other things that you need to consider is the formatting and submission of details. This document will be on Blackboard and it needs to be either a Word or a PDF file. If you happen to type in Google Docs, you will need to convert your document into a Word and PDF file. If you have trouble with that, I can help assist you with that. Name the file first and last name, first assignment. Make sure your file name is descriptive of whose paper it is. 1 inch margin, standard font, 11 to 12 point. Include your name and date on the first page. Include page number. Include works cited and MLA format. And your target length is going to be 5 pages, double space. The remaining part of this assignment sheet tells you what I am grading on and the grading criteria. We will talk about this as we are working on this paper. So, if you have any questions, the reason why I give this assignment sheet out early is to assist you with reading the Day Cruise text. So, your goal for next week is to read and take notes and have annotate and point out what's important from the Day Cruise chapter that you would like to use in this. I apologize for that. So, just keeping that in mind for your assignment as you're reading. That's why you have this early. Next week, you will have a video of me we'll talk about some things from the text, and you will also have a video from me explaining what your experiment with Wonder, how you go about conducting that experiment. As always, although this is an asynchronous course, if you have any questions or concerns at any time, please reach out. I am here to meet with you, to assist you in any way and coach you through this course. So if you get stuck, don't stay stuck. Please reach out to me and we could talk about anything. The PowerPoint will be available for you on Blackboard, and along with the reading is available, the assignment sheet. And if you have any questions or concern, please let me know. Have a great week, everyone. And there will be more videos, maybe 1 or 2 more videos for this assignment next week as we move into the drafting process. Have a good one.